And you mentioned something there about emotional intelligence. I want to talk to you about like IQ versus EQ, emotional intelligence versus, your IQ score. Walking into this specialized unit and what the similarities or differences was, and how do they select for this? Like, what was your experience with that selection process?
It's very individualized, and the guys going through it, like I'm one of the guys that went through it. I have ideas of what they're looking for, but nobody really knows except people at the highest level and people that work in, the selection course and all that. And even then, only a handful of people really know what or if or the kind of criteria. It's a freaking mystery even to us. Okay. But the things that they do tell you is a couple things, and you put it in layman's terms. One, they're looking for someone that's trainable. Okay?
Makes sense.
And that's, when they say trainable, they don't mean trainable in just military skills. They mean, I could teach you to do anything. I can teach you to fix trucks. I can teach you to put in light fixtures. I can do anything. You are capable of learning anything that we want you to learn. Okay. That's what they want. And what people don't understand as well is they're not, and this was told to me by a sergeant major at the unit, where a lot of organizations will think, or a lot of people think organizations want, they want all guys from SF and the Rangers, or they want all guys that are infantry SF or the Rangers. They figure because that's foundational.
It's Army.
Yeah.
Right?
It's foundational skills.
They've been through the thing.
Yeah. And what he said is, we're not buying, he goes, the way we view it is, we're not buying knives. We want raw steel, and we'll forge it the way we want, and we'll grind it the way we want. We'll make knives. We just want good steel. We don't want your knife. We'll make our own knives. We just want really good steel, and we'll forge that and create what we want out of it. You don't even know what we need. You don't know what we require for our knives. We do. So just sell us good steel and we'll deal with it from there. And that's something that people don't understand, because they think, well, I was in the Ranger Regiment for 12 years and I came here and I didn't make it. Or I was in the 82nd. I worked all the way, I was a LURS team leader. I was, went to Ranger school, like all the way through. I was the top of everything. I'm a super fit guy, and I didn't make it. And it's, you can teach a monkey to carry heavy weight for long distance, but you can't teach him to think. And it's like, now you start looking at the way that we screen people and the difficulty of the selection course, the tasks that you have to do, the way you have to navigate, and the difficulty of the navigation and the creative problem solving that's required. It requires it.
That's what they're testing.
Yes.
Not can you get through the waypoints.
Yeah.
It's how are you doing?
How can you do that? Can you take in that information? Can you remember it? What mistakes do you make? There's a lot of there. There's there's that side of it, and your ability to get along with people that you don't like, because they don't care if you and I are working together. They don't care if Scott and Mike like each other. They don't care if Scott has all the criteria and Mike has all the criteria. You're both good operators. Just work. Your personal stuff is exactly that. It's not work stuff. It's personal stuff. So keep it under your hat. And when you both go home at night, you don't have to go to each other's houses and barbecue, but you have to work together. And if you can't, then you're demonstrating a lack of emotional intelligence. And so
that's interesting, because from a cultural perspective, kind of what you see on the outside and what's been portrayed, let's say in cinema, movies, whatever, or even, let's just say, like you see it all the time elsewhere outside of that, social media, whatever else, is that in other specialized units, it is very much like we drink together, we party together, we surf together, we chase girls together.
Exactly.
It's kind of been glorified or whatever. And what I hear you saying is that's not part of the culture there at all. In fact, it's frowned upon.
It's not a requirement.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, some guys will hang out together because, like, if you and I just happen to be really tight and our wives are really tight, maybe we'll hang out together. But it's not like everybody from this team or this troop, we all hang out together. We all do. It's just not that way.
It's a cultural difference.
We are so exposed. And when I was there, I mean, who knows? It could have changed, but I doubt it because it's still the organization that it was. It's just more refined even. It's better now than it was then. But it's people, we spend so much time together under arduous conditions, under high pressure conditions where you have to perform at an extremely high level. I tell people, it's the NFL. You're in the NFL now. And if you don't perform at that level, they'll either find somebody else to replace you that will perform at that level, or they'll just have an empty locker. They would rather have an empty locker than a guy filling a locker who can't perform. And so it's not like it is an organization that has a very specific and important task. And so they don't have time for that stuff. And so when you start to identify yourself as someone that can't get along with people, that's a personal issue. This is work. You don't have to like me. You have to work with me though. And you have certain requirements when you work with me. And I think that's it is something that people find really difficult to get past their own personal bias. I don't like this guy. Well, that's your problem. Like, is he getting the job done? Is he good at what he does? Yes. There are going to be personality clashes. And that's one of the requirements. You have to learn how to work with people that you may not necessarily like, but you have to work with them like you like them. Like, they have to be able to trust you when it comes down to, crunch time. And I think that's, that
should be consistent against a lot of the teams and different.
It should be,
obviously.
And then when at the end of, like, you're together all the time, you're constantly together. It's nice to just go home and not be around it. It honestly is. To go, it's like, it's enough. You need a break from it. You need to take off that ruck and just sit on your couch and have a drink and be like, okay, I'm just at home now. I'm going to go refinish my deck. It has nothing to do.
You don't need to go to the bar with the other guys and hang out now after work.
Exactly. And I think that's something that, because of the nature of the intensity of that and the requirements, like, you're always on the clock. You walk through the gate and it's on. It's work time, period.